Well, everybody, I can't believe it, but we're here. I think we might even be live on YouTube. It's a miracle.
We are live on YouTube.
Wow, look at us go. We're actually it works this week. Holy moly. And of course, we are here for your weekly Nintendo News Roundup live each and every Friday night. The All In Crew breaks down the weekend Nintendo news. Holy moly, I can't believe it, Eric. It's been a while, it feels like. And then the last time we did this, it was like kind of cursed, but here we are in fine form tonight.
Yeah, so it feels like it's been 3 whole years since the last time we got to spend a Friday night with all of you fine, amazing folks. And turns out we have a lot to talk about in the proceedings somehow just a couple of weeks. However, before we get into tonight's festivities, question mark, there is an incredibly important piece of business that we have to attend to each and every night. There are some amazing members of our community who have gone above and beyond, who have earned themselves a shout out at the top of every show we do.
That's right. Thank you to our patrons at patreon.com/allinpodcast. We like to thank them here before we start the show every week. Thank you to our Golden Banana Bunch, Rob Yapel, Sean O'Baggins, Ashton, Tim A, a.k.a. NeoPrime33, a.k.a. Nintendo Dad number 4, Phelan Ward, Bill Tucker, Marcus O'Neill, Liam D, Gamer Jason, Andrew Wilkins, Alan hashtag Look to the Cookie, Solo, SAZ, and blah, blah, blah. Big thanks to our Golden Banana Bunch. You get a 7-day free trial to that tier. Join their ranks. See what all the fuss is about. Get exclusive content every single week and early access to shows like Bit Harmony, latest episode of which is live to our patrons right now. But moving into our Triforce tier, thank you to Josh Vaughn, the godfather of Tingle Love Tuesday, John Datfast Cummins of the Retro Logic podcast, as well as the On Topic Retro podcast, the Globetrotting Jet Set Nintendo Hub, and Sparky of the Nintendo Hub right here on YouTube, Adam Caparello of the Retro Groove podcast, Shy Guy, the other half of our Shy Guy mod squad. Thank you, Shy Guy. Danielina Hosa, Dan and Luma, Bowza, the Keeper of the Hugs, the Don Rob, Foolish Fuji, the Koala from Down Under, and the legend himself.
The legend himself, Uncle Randy.
Nice.
Thank you.
Sung Uncle Randy here on the show this week. Thanks so much to our patrons and everybody who supports us over there. We appreciate you very much. That is the best way to support the show and everything we do here at All In. Another great way to do that is allin.media, which is our refreshed website and merch store. Pick yourself up some merch and support the show that way. Or you can support the show for free. If you listen to us on your audio feeds, you can drop us a 5-star review. Drop some words. That is very much appreciated. And if you watch us on YouTube, your likes and your comments and your subs help us that way as well. And that's all free. That's the price everybody can enjoy. But Eric, we've got a lot to talk about tonight.
Yes, we do.
A lot of games. Summer Game Fest happened.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, in the time slot in which we should have been live with you guys last week, there was quite a bit going on within the world of video games. Just in the past couple of weeks, as a matter of fact, just in the past week and a half, there have been no less than 7 separate video game presentations and showcases. And even though they weren't specifically Nintendo Directs, there were a lot of Nintendo headlines to take away from a massive Summer Game Fest weekend. So we promise not to keep you all night. However, let's talk about it.
Yeah, let's get into some of this stuff. Now, I do want to say, just as a quick disclaimer, real quick, before we get into the proceedings tonight, we are talking about Nintendo Switch games specifically. So John32 in the chat, Sony went third party since then. That's true. Yeah, Sony's now officially a third party studio. We're going to get into that.
Yeah, we are.
But yeah, so tonight we're going to be talking about the games that are specifically confirmed for Nintendo Switch. So there are a lot of there's a lot of kind of flowery language, Steam and consoles, PC and consoles, whatever. The stuff that we're going to be talking about tonight has a Nintendo Switch logo or is something that can be independently confirmed is coming to Nintendo Switch. So what we're talking about tonight is Switch bound. So we're going to, we're making sure that you guys have the correct information. And it also, keeps us from being here, literally all night long and covering
Yeah.
everything. If you want that,
Yeah. If you want to be here all night long.
we do have that for you too
Yeah.
on Patreon. This past week on Patreon, we do a show called All In Side Quest over there. And on that show, that's like our non-Tendo show. And whenever there's like a big showcase or something, we break that down on that show from Sony or Microsoft or whoever. And there were a lot of those this past week. So we sat down and we broke it all down, all the non-Tendo stuff in a like 3.5 hour long podcast. That is now live on Patreon. You can pop that 7-day free trial, and everything that we don't cover tonight, we pretty much cover on that.
Far and away the longest Patreon exclusive podcast that we've done to date.
Yeah.
So if you want to listen to this and then go listen to that to get the full scope of our thoughts on everything that's gone on over the past week and a half, I mean, if you're not currently a member of the Patreon, all it takes is popping that 7-day free trial. Just saying.
But let's start things off. Actually, before Summer Game Fest properly kicked off, a showcase that I think flew under the radar for many people was the Guerrilla Collective showcase.
Yeah, a 2-hour showcase of a lot of really cool up-and-coming indie games. The Media Indie Exchange is still trying to kind of get on the same level of notoriety, the same level of influence as something like, your Day of the Devs or your, Wholesome Director or something like that. But don't sleep on these guys, honestly. It's a long showcase, don't get me wrong. Guerrilla Collective was too long of a show, but there were some really, really cool looking games shown off at this show. There were some actual pretty big announcements made at this show. This is where the Yuko Replay announcement was officially made. And there were several games that were officially confirmed for Nintendo Switch at this Direct as well.
Yeah, and there's plenty of stuff too where it's like games that were previously known quantities just got shown there. We're not going to cover that. We're going to hit the actual headlines and news. The first one of which, we knew that Tomba Special Edition was on its way, but it has been confirmed a release date. It's coming August 1st, and we got to see a little bit of that here at the Guerrilla Collective, and it is coming to the Nintendo Switch. Please be excited.
Please be excited. Tomba was a game I played way, way back when it originally came out back on PlayStation 1, and it was weird. It was a game that it felt like nobody played, but everybody played, if that makes sense. Nobody you never played it?
No.
It was always a game that I found somehow made its way into a conversation. So I'm really happy to see that it's finally coming back, and it's coming to basically, I won't say everything. I don't think it's coming to Xbox, but it is coming to PS4, PS5, Steam, and of course Nintendo Switch.
Yeah. Yep, I'm always been I've always wanted to check this out, and I've been familiar with it. I've seen it at many SGDQs and Games Done Quick events and stuff, but I never actually played this one, so I'm looking forward to it. It's coming out August 1st, not too far away. It's got all your interviews and videos and art museum and stuff, so it's got all the trappings of a fine collection.
Yeah,
and
something that I didn't know until this past week, though, is apparently it was released in Europe as Timba back in the day.
Oh, okay.
And that just makes no sense to me.
Yeah, but what's the deal with that?
I don't know. I saw a couple videos on people. Like What Culture specifically is a European YouTube channel that does a lot of top 10 lists, and they called it Timba specifically 5 times in a row. And they said, or Tomba for our American counterparts. I was like, that wasn't a mistake. It was just weirdly one letter changed for the European version. Okay, sure, why not?
Sure, why not? Next thing, I didn't know. I mean, if this was a previously known thing, I had no idea. Five Nights at Freddy's Into the Pit?
Yeah, so there's a new pixel art, kind of 2D top-down Five Nights at Freddy's game coming, and I don't know, it looks kind of rad. We didn't necessarily get a lot to go off of from this trailer in terms of gameplay specific, but we do see this main character here who is perpetually frightened, kind of walk around a little bit and even running from a couple of the animatronics later. But an actual new FNAF game in a slightly different genre, but I think it looks pretty cool.
I'm with you. I'm not a Five Nights at Freddy's guy. I played the first one. I was into it for, a weekend or something.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the movie. I don't know. I'm not up on the lore. You'd have to ask my nephews about that. But this looks cool. I like the art.
Yeah, I do
I
too.
like the animation, the pixel art. It looks cool. Like it looks like well animated. It looks like it has a budget put into it. No actual release date for it. We just know that it's coming to Nintendo Switch. Fresh pizza coming soon is what it says.
I love that so much. And I don't know, maybe they'll deal with like the bite of 87 or something like that. I know everybody
I've
who
heard that. Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody who really loves FNAF, all of those lore hounds out there, I'm sure a lot of people are excited to see exactly what this may confirm, deconfirm, or add to the ever increasingly convoluted lore of this universe. But just for the game itself, I think it looks pretty rad.
Yeah, how much could there possibly be to learn about somebody getting bit? You know, the bite.
I don't know.
The bite.
Ask Matt Pat.
I guess so. I guess so. All right. Well, this is a game that we've known about for a little while too. An indie game coming up. It's kind of a spiritual successor to Mischief Makers.
Yes.
It's called Double Shake, and not a release date or anything for this, but it is cool. This was officially confirmed for the Nintendo Switch at this showcase, and yeah, I think it looks good.
Yeah. Mischief Makers, of course, kind of a famously cult classic Nintendo 64 / Sega Saturn era game where you would grab onto enemies and then shake them and throw them. Yeah. So really, really glad to see that game finally getting kind of the spiritual successor that it deserves. I hope this game's good because Mischief Makers was incredibly underrated when it came out originally. I think a lot of people were just like, it was a weird game. And I think that weirdness may have turned some people off and kept it from becoming a bigger success than it deserved to be. But I mean, indie devs are nothing if not weird. So finally, we have like some proper Mischief Makers love showing up in the indie space. I don't really know of too many other like Mischief Makers likes that I've seen in recent years.
Mean, you could say that Klonoa is kind of in that same kind of ballpark.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's not been a lot. I mean, even Tomba is kind of in that same kind of ballpark. But yeah, there's not a lot of games like this. This looks better than Mischief Makers to me. Frankly, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So pretty cool. Coming to PS5, PS4, Steam, and yeah, Nintendo Switch.
I just noticed the coconuts are actually bells in that tree that was shown off in the final shot there.
That's cute. I like that. One that I know that you and I are both looking forward to actually got a pretty significant showing here at the Guerrilla Collective. Demon School.
Bro.
Which looks great, and this is coming September 13th. It finally got a release date at the show.
Yeah, so this is a very colorful, grid-based horror, high school, just gory.
What did you call
extravaganza.
it? You called it like Buffy the Vampire Slayer meets Persona or something?
I called it Buffy the Vampire Slayer meets Mario plus Rabbids.
Yeah. Yeah, looks cool, man. I'm really excited for this one. And September's right around the corner. This apparently has been in development for a really long time. I was turned on to this by community member Elveeth for the first time, and he's been looking forward to this for forever. And I had to tag him in the Discord the second I saw this got a release date. So it looks great. Looks like a fun, satisfying, gory.
Yeah, this is not going to be for your young sons, daughters, nephews, nieces. Yeah. But there's two things specifically about this game that I'm really excited for in terms of its inspiration, and both weirdly I think come from the Paper Mario series.
Okay.
One, this is just kind of a trailer, but we got like a proper full-size gameplay demonstration of the game this past weekend as well. And one of the big things that they wanted to show off was the bosses. And the bosses in the game look wonderfully unique, incredibly unique, bending the rules and the gameplay of the traditional kind of grid-based, tactics-based combat in some really unique ways. In ways that actually kind of reminded me quite a bit of Paper Mario the Origami King. And another potentially Paper Mario influence from this game is, if you've noticed, every time that we've seen damage or healing or any numbers really pop up in the trailer, it's all been like between numbers 1 and 5. We're dealing with very low
Right.
damage, like low hitting numbers here, and in a way that very much reminds me of classic Paper Mario games, which I
Sure.
kind of dig.
Yep. I love a low numbers RPG.
Mm-hmm.
Love it. Can't wait for this one, man. Really, really excited. It was cool to see it here at the show. Cool for it to finally get a release date. And yeah, the people have been waiting on this for a long time. Have got to be happy about it. 15 playable characters. Very cool.
Looks rad.
Looking forward to that. Yeah, the next one I want to quickly highlight here, if I can find it. There's so many games in this. I'm looking
There
for
really
here in
was.
the-
Again,
in
this
the,
was a
chapters
2-hour
list.
showcase. I do recommend people go back and check it out, but you may have to do it over like 3 sittings or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
They
Well,
tried to
it's-
entice people to watch the whole thing by giving away. They had AR codes throughout the thing, and they were trying to give stuff away to. It was like, stay, please, stay. You want to
Right.
watch?
Well, for the first time on Nintendo Switch, also, hi Sean Capri, good to see you, buddy. Echo Generation,
Yes.
which is coming soon. This is coming like next week on the 19th. This, I guess, has been out on Xbox and PC for a little while. This is made by, yeah, they're perfect timing there, right as I'm about to say it, from the creators of Ravenlock, and also like River Bond, which is a game that I dug on Switch, and this looks really cool. And it's not, we don't have to wait too long for it. It's coming with a bunch of like quality of life improvements that they're highlighting here in the trailer. And yeah, it looks cool. Kind of like a Stranger Things, like a voxel Stranger Things RPG.
Yeah, kind of. Kind of reminds me of like Costume Quest or something like that as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, nice little turn-based RPG with a nice crunchy art style to it. Absolutely, the Stranger Things comparison makes a ton of sense. If you can even see the trailer right now, there's so much weird 80s monstrosities running around. But yeah, I know I've said this already a few times during this roundup, but it does look rad.
Yeah, looks really cool. I'm into it. I definitely I immediately went to the eShop and wish listed it.
Yep.
Here's another interesting looking one, sort of for your, Contra fans perhaps. Iron Meat. Eric.
Yes. I believe this was the confirmation of the Nintendo Switch platform because this is not the first time we've seen Iron Meat. I specifically remember seeing this at another showcase and thinking that it looks just absolutely bonkers. Obviously, the Contra comparisons are really easy to make. It is a pixel art run and gun style, level based extravaganza, but was really happy to see the Nintendo Switch platform confirmed for this because it just looks like Doom meets Contra meets maybe even something like Carrion because of the different monster designs and everything going on. And as you can see there's a ton of different customization options. Looks like a ton of different upgrades and augmentations and a bunch of different ways that you'll be able to change up the gameplay. And again, it just looks like co-op. Looks like a ton of fun. Hopefully you and I get the opportunity to play this. Hopefully it's online co-op, but yeah, having a bunch of fleshy masses with face coming out of it only to blow them up with a legally distinct spread shot seems like a wonderful time to me.
Love a fleshy mass.
Yeah,
big fan of shooting a fleshy mass.
Look at that. We have a huge passenger train on screen right now in which the main car itself is just a massive bevisored face.
Yeah,
it's so cool.
Iron Meat, late 2024 for Nintendo Switch. Looks very interesting to say the least. I'm not even like a big Contra guy, but I want to play that. I do want to play that.
It does look really cool.
The last thing to highlight from here really is the release date information from Frogun Encore, which is also coming real soon. This is coming, I think, June 25th to Nintendo Switch. Frogun came out like a year or two ago, I think. And here we have the new trailer and release date information for its sequel, Frogun Encore. Looks great.
Yeah. So this is like a proper, like full-on extra. This is not just DLC.
No, this is another game.
Yeah. The naming convention's a little weird because I think it is confusing.
Yeah, it is a little confusing. I agree. Yeah. Yeah, and it even I believe is adding like co-op to it. I think they're going to show it in the trailer. I think yeah, here we go.
Yeah,
Yeah, co-op now. Pretty cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
Frogun wonderfully, uh, PS1 era style, almost like a natural, I think, extension of what the PlayStation 1 era Frogger games were supposed to be. If you ever played those little PS1 Frogger games, a lot of those same vibes are right here.
I just love the way it looks. I love the art. I love
Yeah,
the sort of Mega Man Legends energy it has. Looks great. This Kevin Foggerhagen key art is gorgeous. Shout outs to Kevin. We love Kevin. And this is coming June 25th to Nintendo. I gotta finish the first one.
yeah,
I gotta go through and finally finish the first one. But
yeah,
yeah, those are some of the Switch headlines. The new Switch information out of Gorilla Collective.
yeah. There were more Nintendo Switch-bound games shown off at that Digital Eclipse announced Volgar 2, The Viking. There's a game called The Secret of Crystal Mountain. A new Toxic Avenger beat 'em up was shown here. We got a new update for Elsie. A really interesting horror game called Killing Time Resurrected. So there was a lot of Nintendo Switch love shown at the Gorilla Collective this past weekend.
Yep. Very cool. But moving into Summer Game Fest itself, I think far and away the biggest Nintendo Switch related announcement of this entire dang weekend
Yeah.
has to be Lego Horizon Adventures, right?
Well, I don't know if it's the biggest of the weekend. I think there'd be another game that would
For the
like
Nintendo
award
Switch.
for the Nintendo Switch. I don't know about that. There may be another like Life is Strange. That
You don't
might
think this is
work.
bigger than Life? I love Life is Strange. You don't think this is a bigger deal than Life is Strange?
I would put them on the same level.
No,
I would
it was
put them
way
on the
bigger. Way bigger.
No, it certainly is absolutely a big deal that a PlayStation 1 that a PlayStation exclusive franchise is getting a spin-off,
Yes.
albeit, but it is getting released on a Nintendo platform. I certainly didn't expect to see a Nintendo Switch logo following the announcement of Lego Horizons.
No kidding.
But yeah, it looks, oh my god, it looks so good. Looks really clean, looks really fresh, and it looks like it's just going to continue on I guess just kind of in a traditional fun pick up and play, very kid friendly Lego adventure formula that the franchise has been using basically since the original Lego Star Wars. However, just a lot more of quality of life improvements and a lot more Aloy.
Do this with every PlayStation IP. Do it with all of them. I love this idea so much. I'm so excited that this is coming to Switch. I think it's a perfect fit for Switch. People have played it at Summer Game Fest. I've read interviews with the developers and stuff. They're like, we want this to have parity. You know, of course, it's not going to have visual parity, but
No.
they want it to have parity with the PlayStation version as much as it possibly can. So you're still going to get a great experience. They're developing the Switch version not as just like a quick and dirty port. Like it's got its own development to it, set aside for it. They did say it's going to have online co-op. I'm hopeful that the Switch version does too. But like, yeah, I mean, this was a huge deal, man. This is awesome, and it's coming this holiday. I can't wait.
Yeah. This is a game that also feels like a more PS5 parity version could also very easily be a launch title for Switch too.
It could be, yeah,
Yeah.
it could be.
Or maybe like one of the free upgrades or something that, the PlayStation 4 games have for the PS5 and whatever. But yeah, again, Epic Game Store, Steam, Nintendo Switch, yeah, some new ground, so some new untapped real estate for the Horizon franchise. And I do wonder what made PlayStation decide to go this route with this franchise, because because Sony has some really cool, cinematic adventure IP that they could have easily done this with. You could make the argument that maybe something like an Uncharted would make better sense given some of the other like Lego Indiana Jones, Lego Pirates of the Caribbean games that have come out. I personally would, I mean, you and I have already talked about this. Lego God of War would be amazing. I wonder what made them decide to go the Lego route with the Horizons franchise. Not that I'm complaining.
It's because they already have Lego Horizon sets. It's because those already exist. That's already a thing. They have like the Lego tall neck set or whatever. that's already existed. So the license, the deal's already been made. It's just extended to video games. It's easy, you know. So, and they don't have to think about like the legwork's already been done of like how do we realize this world in Lego form or whatever. They've already done it. So it's just make that a video game. And so I think it makes a lot of sense to start there. And I think it's you know it makes perfect sense to put that on a Nintendo platform too, to have that. To have that kind of there for that audience. And they've said like you can play this with like a single Joy-Con, so multiplayer right out of the box on Switch. It's going to do great on Switch. Star Athena, yeah, I was going to say cost, absolutely. You don't have to. All your pre-production's done. You know, take the work you've already put and just translate it to video game form. Makes perfect sense, man. Well, let's go into the world of Harry Potter. Ever so briefly, coming September 3rd, Harry Potter Quidditch Champions. Unclear how much of this is gameplay. It kind of looks like kind of going for like a Disney Dreamlight Valley Fortnite kind of art style Quidditch game. Not really my cup of tea, but hey, you know, look, we got the first new Quidditch game since that game on PS2, and like PS2 and GameCube Quidditch game or whatever. So there you go.
I mean, if you're a big fan of the Wizarding World, if you're a big I don't know how hardcore into Quidditch people get when it comes to the Harry Potter fandom, but like you said, this isn't the first dedicated Quidditch game that we're getting. It's the first one in a while, but it's not the first one that we've seen. So
this is gameplay, I bet. This right here.
I hope so.
Gameplay, yeah, yeah. To me, Quidditch is the least interesting thing about Harry Potter. You know,
I wasn't going to say it, but but I do wonder. I do wonder how they're going to make this game content rich. Like what kind of season mode or story mode? How many different Quidditch? Like honestly, like how many different Quidditch fields can you have? How many different? Yeah. I mean, you're only going to have teams, I imagine, based off the 4 houses. So. I mean, I'm sure people who are going to be into this are going to like it. Admittedly, my untrained Harry Potter brain does struggle to see how they're going to fill this game up with stuff for players to do, but I don't know.
I mean, you could have a bunch of different teams from a bunch of different schools and stuff work into it, and I could see it, but like for me, I don't even know if they've said like, is this even going to have any single player component? Is this going to be a strictly multiplayer? I don't know what it is. You know, I literally don't know what it is, other than it's like a Harry Potter Quidditch game. I don't know if this is supposed to be a PvP primarily experience, if this is supposed to be a single player thing. So I don't know, but it's coming soon. It's coming September 3rd. It's day 1 PS Plus also. So yeah, that's cool if you're a PlayStation fan, but it is coming to Switch. So please be excited about that. Next thing we saw, a new update on Neva. Jeff Keighley here is talking about how he's played through it. And I got a feeling Neva's coming soon. I have a feeling that we're going to hear about this sooner rather than later. Because people that I'm hearing talking about this, they make it sound like it's farther along than maybe we expected. And we got a new trailer here that showed off for the first time combat in the game. Yeah. And it looks great.
Yeah, you and I did an indie showcase on Gris a while back, and of course one of the big things that you and I both loved about it was just the presentation, just the stunning art style of the game, and Neva really looks like it's kind of taking that to the next level. Gris itself was a very linear 2D platformer style game, a touch of Metroidvania style elements and backtracking, but the absolute lush and vibrant color use in Neva is just absolutely breathtaking already. And just even the layered environments, what's going on in the foreground, and we can see the combat right there, and it looks like it's supposed to be fast and fluid, and almost gives me some, kind of Hollow Knight, Dead Cells vibes.
Yeah, I think this looks awesome. I honestly didn't expect it to have combat. So this trailer was a huge shock to me, and I just can't wait to get in here and explore this world. I have a feeling some of these games that we've already talked about, I have a good feeling that we're going to circle back to these when it comes to the Nintendo Direct happening this month. I mean, look, man, we should be talking about Nintendo Direct within the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And we've just got a vague 2024 date. But I think this might be coming sooner rather than later.
Well, we
So,
saw it both here at Summer Game Fest, and we also saw it at the
yeah.
Devolver show
Yeah.
this past weekend. So it wouldn't surprise me at all if it, makes a triple peat and shows up at the Nintendo Direct as well. I also would kind of expect to see Lego Horizons at the Nintendo
Yeah.
Direct as well.
I think so too. I think that's a lock. I think you see some Switch gameplay of that at the Nintendo Direct. I'm looking forward to seeing that game on Switch.
I really hope we have Switch footage of Lego Horizons because I think
Yeah.
that's a big question mark for a lot of people.
Agreed. This was a huge surprise to see was coming to Switch. Civ 7, Sid
Yeah.
Meier's Civilization 7, is coming to Switch. That was like the one logo I didn't expect to see at the end of this trailer, but
Yeah, once
hey.
I realized it was a Civ game, I just kind of stopped watching it. I was like, okay, nice for the Civilization fans. It'll come out on Xbox and PC and probably PlayStation 5, but it's certainly not coming out on the Nintendo Switch, certainly not Civ 7, despite the fact that we have Civilization games already on the Nintendo Switch. It was still a big surprise to see the Red Brands logo on this one.
Yeah. Yeah, and admittedly, it's not like a gameplay trailer or anything like that. It sounds like they're going to have a gameplay rollout in a dedicated showcase in like August or something. I think they actually had Sid Meier record a little video. He's just a cute old man, Sid Meier. Just a cute old guy.
Just a cute
Just
old man.
just adorable, just precious, sitting there talking about Civilization 7. And yeah, I think they're doing an actual proper gameplay reveal in August, so you can get a look at gameplay. I'm sure they're not going to show Switch gameplay during that. I'm sure it's going to be running on PC. Yeah, there you go. Watch the gameplay showcase.
Look at the little Switch logo right there. It's so adorable. Look at it.
Yeah.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah. Here we go. Here's Sid Meier. There he is. Look at him. Adorable. His little cardigan. Yeah. Very
He looks
cool,
like
man.
he's dearly missing his Zen bonsai trees.
Yeah, and his life alert. Yeah,
I wasn't going to say that.
So we saw that. That's a cool announcement. I'm not a big Civilization guy. I played Civilization Revolution on the Xbox 360, and that's the only Civilization game I've ever played, I think. So, yeah. Cool, man. Well, we got one of the coolest things I think of Summer Game Fest just in general. Star Athena says he's not that old. How old is he? I gotta Google that. One of the coolest things about Summer Game Fest for me was seeing new publishers take the stage. And while not everything that Blumhouse Game Studio, the newly revealed publishing arm of the Blumhouse horror movie empire, not everything they showed is confirmed for Nintendo Switch. Not everything they showed even has like any sort of date. They are kicking off their efforts later this year with Fear the Spotlight, which is coming to the Nintendo Switch.
Yeah. I really hope they continue to support the Red brand in the future because the Blumhouse games just kind of reveal in general was easily one of the highlights of the weekend for me. Mm-hmm. They showed off 5 games and mentioned a 6th is also in development, but they showed off 5 games. And frankly, I think all 5 of the games they showed off look interesting. I want to play all 5 of the games they showed off. So I really hope that, this Grave Sessions game that we just saw, that could easily come to Nintendo Switch. Uh-huh. So I hope it does. But regardless, the only one that is currently confirmed is like you said, I was about to say Spotlight. I was about to say Sleep Away because the logo just popped up on screen, but yeah.
Here it is. This is Fear the Spotlight.
This low poly, almost like Roblox meets Silent Hill style game.
It looks cool, man.
It does look really cool. I also hope the simulation comes to. Oh my god, these games look so cool.
They all look really cool, and it's awesome just to see. See if I can scrub ahead a little bit. See Jason Blum take the stage with all 6 of his necklaces that he put on that morning.
Did the lights dim when he came on the screen? Or?
The lights did not dim. The lights were a different shade, but I don't know if I'd say that they dimmed. But yeah, he's on. So it's cool. It's cool to see them like passionate and talking about how excited they are about these games. From Fear the Spotlight in particular, from what I read, this actually came out on Steam, I think last year, and it was delisted because Blumhouse gave them the money to like make it a bigger like deal than it is. They're like, well, we can give you the funding after the fact. So they delisted it, and now they're re-releasing it later this year as a bigger scale project than I guess it was initially. Because you can go on YouTube and find like playthroughs of the old version of Fear the Spotlight. So
Dope.
pretty interesting. Yeah, pretty interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing more out of that. One thing, another sort of in a similar vein, while uh, none of these are confirmed for Switch yet, I did just want to shout this out in the same breath because this Outer Sloth publishing initiative, this Outer Sloth indie funding project,
Look
I
at
think is
Victoria Tran
awesome.
looking all cute on stage.
Adorable. Both of them adorable. Charlie Brown shirt, Victoria Tran saying, "What's up, gamers?" I love it. And this is a great idea because this is Outer Sloth. You know, for those who don't know, Inner Sloth is the studio that made Among Us, and with the meteoric success of Among Us and all of the money that Among Us has made, they've basically taken that money and put it back into indie games
Yep.
and said, hey, like we're gonna help y'all with funding with this new publishing arm, Outer Sloth. And they rolled out, I mean, 5, 6 games or something like that they're publishing with more to come. And again, platforms and dates and stuff for a lot of this stuff is not confirmed, but I do expect that we'll see at least some of these games come into Switch.
Yeah, they did a Playtonic, and good for
Yeah.
them. I love seeing this. I mean, when so many weeks, so many of the news roundups that we do these days include stories about even more industry layoffs from the big publishers. It's so
Right.
nice to see these independent companies seeming like in larger numbers create coalitions and create publishing wings and start to create like network between each other, and kind of bring themselves together. So as as many layoffs as the industry has dealt with, there's a lot of indie studios out there that are finding enough success to continue to help each other out, and you love to see it.
You do love to see it, and it's a nice story. The fact that they're funding the sequel to Battle Chef Brigade, that's pretty awesome. I imagine that's going to come to Switch. First one did,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, I mean this is great, a great story and a great positive, sort of thing to highlight in a very in a very sad and negative industry. Here are two new publishers that are putting new art out there in light of the recent layoffs and closures and stuff that have been plaguing the industry. So
Yeah,
you love to see it.
One Button
Love to see
Bosses
it.
is absolutely coming to Switch.
I would think so, right? Like a lot of these, I imagine, are coming to Switch, right?
I would imagine, yeah, but specifically, like One Button Bosses, like specifically looks like a Nintendo Switch game. If that one doesn't come to Nintendo Switch, that just seems like it's missing the boat.
Yeah. Well, the last confirmed Nintendo Switch bit of news here from Summer Game Fest,
Gotta go fast.
we did. What's that? Gotta
No,
go.
go
Oh, gotta
ahead.
go fast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sonic Cross Shadow Generations got a release date of October 25th. Got a new trailer for it as well, some pre-order information and all that stuff. And yeah, looks cool. I still kind of wish I could just buy the Shadow stuff separately. And I don't really care to replay Sonic Generations, but it's cool. This is a cool announcement.
To be completely honest, if they fix the final boss of Sonic Generations, this remake is justified.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I adore Sonic Generations. It's one of my favorite Sonic games of the past 15 years. It's right up there, honestly, with Sonic Frontiers for me, until you get to the final boss, which is no hyperbole, one of the worst final bosses I've ever played against in a video game, full stop. So all the Shadow stuff does look really cool. And
That's what I want to play.
Yeah,
Play
the Shadow stuff does look really cool. But my biggest concern, honestly, is, man, I really just hope that they fix the final boss of Sonic Generations proper. If they do that, good. Just good. And then, of course, you've got Shadow turning into, like, Venom there at the end or something.
Now, I will say, this Sonic Adventure skin is pretty good.
Yeah, it is.
Pre-order bonus skin. And I do really like the box art. So,
That's
I don't
fair.
know. I don't know if I'm like day one on this, but And to be honest, with a lot of these like recent Sonic the Hedgehog ports, it's like you wait a month and you could probably get it for $20. So I'm probably a wait on sale for this, but I do want to play the Shadow stuff.
Yeah. I was the guy that ran around Super Mario Odyssey with the Mario 64 skin, so yeah. I
Oh
did see
sure,
the Sonic Adventure Legacy skin, and my immediate thought was like, does Tails get one? Even though Tails isn't playable.
be cool. And of course, you have to get Gerald Robotnik's journal detailing Shadow's creation, Eric. You got to have that. So
Do you, though?
yeah, please be excited about that. All right, well, let's talk some Day of the Devs as we
Let's.
move away from Summer Game Fest, because basically they basically had like a whole evening block of like Summer Game Fest, which rolled right into Day of the Devs, which rolled right into Devolver, which we'll talk about later too.
Yeah.
And the first confirmed Switch game of Day of the Devs is a Ranger, a role puzzling adventure, which got a release date here at the show. It's coming July 25th, and it looks great.
Yeah. Yeah, it really does. For anybody, this isn't the first time that we've seen a Ranger, but we got a really nice look at the game at large here. And it looks just so adorable, but the big hook, the big gameplay gimmick in a Ranger seems like it's just so incredibly unique and interesting. For anybody who's watching the video, you're already getting a really good idea of how this game works, but basically you exist completely on this grid-based tile world map. However, every time that you move, whether it be vertically or horizontally, everything, be them enemies, implements, whatever elements that are also on the screen that are in the same column or row as you, also move vertically or horizontally as you do. So it's almost like a 2D Rubik's Cube
That's
effect.
exactly what I was going to say. Yep. Yep. 2D Rubik's Cube. It's got the writer of the game is the same lead writer as Karto, and the art is done by David Hellman of Braid fame. And I love his art, and it just looks awesome. Like I'm
That makes
really
a lot of
excited.
sense knowing that when you see the game.
Yeah, it looks great, and I'm quite looking forward to this. It's cool to get a release date. It's coming soon.
Yeah.
July 25th is not that far away, man.
Yeah.
So a
Looks
Ranger,
really
a
cool.
role puzzling adventure, which is also a really cute title. I like that a
This
lot.
has been an amazing generation for puzzle games. Just an
It
amazing
has.
generation for puzzle games. So many incredibly unique and interesting ideas. I mean, we've just in the past month and a half, the games that we've seen. I mean, I already think back to stuff like Patrick's Parabox from last year, but you look at
Yeah.
Lorelei and the Laser Eyes and Paper Trail and stuff like that. And there's just so many genuinely, amazingly conceptual puzzle games coming out this generation. And if a Ranger can really nail the depth of its concept, then it could be something really special.
Yeah, Star Athena points out Cardo, of course, also has some puzzle mechanics as well, so they're not unfamiliar with the genre. So I feel like it's in good hands. We touched on Fear the Spotlight earlier. They did hit that again during Day of the Devs, which was cool. But we also see this game Psychroma,
Yeah.
which I'm really interested in. I loved the way the developers talked about this game. It's coming in 2025. I loved how they talked about how much this story means to them. This story
Sorry
of
for the bad words on
self-identity.
screen.
Yeah, it's all right. You'll get over it. It's it looks great, man. I love the pixel art. I love the sort of again, I just love how much this clearly means to the people that are making it. Day of the Devs does such a great job of showing the people behind the games, and I love that. This game looks awesome.
Yeah, that's always been important to IM 8-bit and to Double Fine when they started this. So yeah, kind of it almost looks like I think I've mentioned this before, but it almost looks like a Detention Blade Runner crossover to me, but it looks incredibly psychological and nuts, and I'm here for it.
Yeah. Also, one of the developers has one of the best names I've seen in recent years, Titus McNally, which is a heck of a name. I love that name. I'll never have a name that cool.
I feel like you can't say that name without an Irish accent.
Yeah, it's awesome. That's an awesome name. I love the pixel art. I love the I love the tone. I love the color palette. I love the Titus McNally of it all. And I'm excited for it, man. It's coming next year to the Nintendo Switch, and I will definitely be interested.
feel like we need that on a shirt now. I love the Titus McNally of it all.
This next one, this is a real quick little update for A Little to the Left,
Yeah,
the puzzle game that came out last year on the Nintendo Switch. Got some new DLC coming on the 25th, and I'm excited about it.
yeah.
Should be great.
So when the original game came out, it didn't admittedly do a lot for me. There was this mechanic of the cat showing up and just messing up everything that you were
Yeah.
doing, and it
Uh-huh.
seemed a little content light to me. So when the game originally released, I wasn't really about it, but they have continued to support this game, and it has gotten considerably larger. They dealt with the cat, although they're adding even more cats with this DLC update apparently. But with everything that they've done with A Little to the Left, I've got to just sit back and applaud.
Yeah, it's awesome the way they've been supporting this game. My wife and I played through the last weekend. We played through the first piece of DLC,
Yeah,
and it's great. It was really really good. There was no cat. I mean, the cat was there, but the cat was not like an antagonistic force in the first DLC, and so it kind of looks like maybe they're going back to that. Like, hey, maybe the cat is a little annoying, but like they still do work the cat kind of into the like story if there
yeah.
is one. Like, there's still some vignettes
The meta
featuring the
narrative
cat.
of it all. Yeah,
I guess so. Yeah, just the overarching thing, and yeah, it's coming out soon, June 25th. I'm excited to play through this with my wife.
yeah. A Little to the Left is getting some more DLC. A little to the right of this date.
That's right. And of course, one that's very near and dear to our heart, showing off some Afterlove EP, having Sasha Ariana get on camera and talk about her relationship to the late great Mohammed Fahmy, the
Hmm.
creator of Coffee Talk and What Comes After, and of course, friend of the show, who sadly passed away in 2022. And this team has gone through hell and back to get this game to the finish line. And they were happy to come to Day of the Devs and say, like, hey, like, we are going to finish this game and we're on track for release in October, hopefully. And showed off a considerable amount of gameplay. There's a new demo for Steam Next Fest as well. And of course, talked about Fami the entire time, too. So that's an easy way to easy pathway to my heart.
Yeah.
Can't wait to play this.
Yeah, I was admittedly concerned when I first heard about Fami's passing because when he came on the show, they were right in the middle. They had already announced After
Yeah.
Love EP, and we got to talk to him quite a bit about the game and this kind of slice of life Jakarta experience. And like my biggest hope after his passing was, I knew that he would want to see this game finished, and I am beyond ecstatic that the development team has found the strength to do just that. This is more so than any game that was shown off this past weekend. This is the day one-iest of day one titles for me.
Yeah.
I will absolutely be playing this the minute it drops.
No question. After Love EP, they didn't put down anything in stone, but they say they're on track for an October release. And the folks at Fellow Traveler are helping them get across the finish line, which is very cool. Looks like it's going to be another great addition to the impressive Fellow Traveler catalog.
Yeah.
And yeah, I can't wait. I
Yeah.
can't wait. And it's going to be, I'm going to weep my way through this thing, man. But I'm going to.
Oh, bro, you and me both, man. You and me both. How do you pronounce that band's name?
Oh, I'm not sure. I'm not sure how you pronounce the band's. I know the artist is Soyatu.
Yeah.
Let's see.
But-
Let me see if she says it again. She talks about she was fangirling about it. L'Alfalfa? Is that it?
I think
L'Alfalfa?
so. L'Alfalfa, I guess, will be making the soundtrack for After Love EP. She also mentioned that they play the music during the rhythm sections, and
Yeah.
she specifically talked about fangirling over them as they were working on the game with them.
Adorable.
So yeah, this is going to be so special. It's going to be so. If you're a fan of slice of life style gameplay or rhythm based games, to say that this needs to be on your radar is an understatement.
Yeah. And again, there is a demo available for Steam Next Fest if you want to try it out. I'm
good
just
call.
for me, I'm like, I'm gonna wait. I just want to, like, I can't just have a taste of that game. Like I'm not emotionally prepared for that. Like, I just want to take it all in at once.
Yeah, me too.
So I'm gonna wait on that. But Yeah, so that was some the confirmed Switch stuff for Day of the. It's an amazing show. Y'all should all watch Day of the Devs.
Yeah.
Um,
I do
it
understand that
always,
after 2 hours of Summer Game Fest that people were a little tired because
yeah,
I don't know what they were thinking doing all of these back to back to back to back.
right, yeah,
But yeah, if you haven't checked out Day of the Devs and you're a fan of indie games, you really do need to. Day of the Devs, Wholesome Direct, like those are consistently really good shows that that indie fans really need to start paying attention to if you're not already.
yeah, big time. So go back and watch that for sure. And there's a lot of stuff they showed there that's not confirmed for Switch, but you know probably and hopefully will come to Switch. So we'll keep y'all updated on that. Quickly hit Devolver. Devolver Direct this year didn't have too much in the way of Nintendo Switch news. They did, you know, we talked about Neva a little bit earlier.
Yep.
We did get this new trailer and release date for the upcoming Cult of the Lamb Unholy Alliance DLC, which is coming August 12th and adding co-op to the game, and I'm sure it's going to make the Nintendo Switch version run even worse. Um, so we'll see.
They're
But
also adding this new goat character that you can see here on screen right now.
I like the new character. Looks
I do
cool.
too. I mean, it makes sense, you know, lamb, goat, theming, got it.
Yep.
And of course, you know, all the different satanic, you know, goat references and all that stuff. But I mean, yeah, it's even more Cult of the Lamb. This is Cult of the Lamb, similarly to A Little to the Left, was not a game that I expected to get as much extra stuff as it has. This is like the third or fourth major update to this game.
Yeah.
So
that's a lot. They're
really, finally adding co-op, which is going to be a big deal for people who have already spent a lot of time developing their own, I'm sure, very wholesome cults within the game.
Yeah, very wholesome.
Very wholesome
cults, I'm sure. Yeah, and I mean, they showed a bunch of stuff here. They showed Angerfoot. They, you know, got a release date on that. They showed the Crush House. Those are only confirmed for PC at the moment. Talos Principle DLC. They showed Heart Machines. Yeah, exactly. Heart Machine's new game, Possessors, was here. No confirmed platforms on that yet. It's coming next year. I hope to see it on Switch, but you know, again, it's just, you know, kind of PC and console mumbo jumbo. We don't know for sure one way or another. And I don't blame people for not confirming explicitly Switch or no, because Switch 2 is likely on the horizon, right?
Yeah.
So,
see, that's the thing with Switch 2 is we're at the exact perfect moment right now where I'm sure a lot of developers are trying to figure out when that console is coming out, to figure out if it's even worth their time to release their game for the Nintendo Switch, to even go through all the issues with porting the game over and developing for the Nintendo Switch. So we're at exactly kind of the wrong moment in time for that. But in addition to Possessors, there was very briefly another game shown off, the follow-up to some of the people behind Dead Cells, Tunjutsu. As you can see here, cool. Yeah, nice little anime cinematic cutscene that goes right into the top-down pixelated gameplay, and it looks absolutely nuts, just like Dead Cell does. But yeah, so another roguelike adventure combat focused game. This one's got a nice pedigree behind it though, so I'll be willing to check it out when it drops.
Bring it to Switch. So, but that's pretty much it for Devolver. There, you know, no Plucky Squire. No, I felt like there was like multiple things I was expecting to see from Devolver that we didn't. No Skate Story from Devolver either. So hopefully that means that we also see Plucky Squire at the Nintendo Direct.
Honestly, not seeing Plucky Squire at the Devolver show basically confirmed, to me at least, that we are going to be seeing it at the Nintendo Direct. Like, they know, Devolver knows that it's one of the most anticipated indie games of the year. So they're not going to... Devolver's an incredibly savvy publishing studio. You don't become as successful as they are without being incredibly business savvy. So having it completely absent from that show means, to me at least, that it's a lock for the Nintendo Direct.
I hope so. Well, let's move into the Wholesome Direct, which happened the following day on Saturday. And the first Nintendo Switch headline from this, the reveal of a game called Caravan Sandwich, which
Hmm.
is one of my personal highlights of the entire week. I think it looks great.
Yeah.
Andros comes into the chat. They know that you picked it for Fantasy League, so they canceled it. No comment, Andros. No comment. I can neither
Go back to
confirm
your
nor
Zelda
deny.
challenges.
What we have to we still owe the
We
Nintendo
do.
Pals
We
community
do.
our stream. We know
We do.
we know
We do.
we gotta get that monkey off of our back one of these
We're
days.
not dodging it, I promise.
No,
We
we're
are
not.
well aware.
Been busy, man. But yeah, Caravan Sandwich looks great. I love this kind of like open world, kind of exploratory puzzle vibe. I love the
Yeah.
art of it. I
Oh
hope
my
it
God,
runs well on Switch.
what was that Xbox game that came out a couple years ago? It was like
Recore?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I got
yeah.
Recore
Thank you.
vibes from it too. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
glad you remembered the name of it because I was thinking like, God, there's this one game. Like, didn't this come out a couple of years ago?
Yeah, I got Recore vibes from it too. I was surprised that this is coming to Switch. This has
Yeah,
got
me
a
too.
demo available for Steam Next Fest. I really hope they have this running well on Switch because I am very excited to play it.
Yeah,
So yeah, got that. We showed they showed Discounty with a kind of bizarre trailer, which also is coming to
yeah,
Switch when the game comes out in 2025. Sort of a very thinly veiled. It's kind of like Stardew Valley if you worked for the Joja Mart, like Joja Mart simulator a little bit.
I can see that. I can see that.
So yeah,
I will
yeah,
say, I mean, that they showed off the game. This was one of those things where, like, it looks like it'll be cool, kind of Moonlighter vibes, a little bit.
yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. This one, for some reason, didn't really grab me as much as a lot of the other games that were shown off were really grabbing me.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I don't know that I like the art style. I don't know that I like the way the characters kind of like look. I like pixel art, but yeah, I don't know. It seems like there's maybe some like a sinister undercurrent to the story, so I'm a little intrigued by the story. But it's not coming out until next year, so we have some time to wait.
You better not
Um,
show off a game at Wholesome Direct that's secretly a horror game, guys. You better not be doing
I mean,
that.
who knows? Who knows? The next game that we'll shout out here is Garden of the Sea, which is coming later this year to the Nintendo Switch. I loved this. I loved that they showed off the devs
And
and their
they had
dog.
the dog with their own name tag. That
Very
was
cute.
adorable. That was so good. But yeah, this kind of I honestly, when I saw this, I was like, "Is this a VR game?"
Yeah, it looks like
And
it, right?
yeah, it really does look like it was made specifically for VR. So when we saw the Nintendo Switch logo, I was kind of baffled. I was like, "We haven't seen a Nintendo Labo game in quite some time. This could be interesting."
Yeah, I mean, I imagine you're going to be playing it with the detached Joy Cons, right? I mean, like it just looks so like the gameplay is like your kind of like hands,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
is
The
why it
hand
looks like
movement is
VR.
so fluid. It just looks like that's how you're going to control the game. Like you're going to
Right.
individually and independently control your arms. I mean, maybe the arms are just that animated from basic gameplay, but the way that the game is presented, it really did look like kind of a VR/Labo style experience. So I don't
Right.
know. I'll be interested to find out exactly how the game does control.
Me too. Yeah, because I mean, like it's coming to Switch and Steam Deck, and like Steam Deck doesn't have Joy
Yeah.
Cons, right? So like it must control with, normal controls on the Switch. It's very interesting. I'm gonna be fascinated to see. It's very cute. I like the visual style of it, and yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued.
I am
Intrigued
too.
by it.
Kind of a short hike meets Bug Snacks vibes,
Sure.
for
Yeah.
me at least.
Yeah, I can see that. We got a little like sizzle reel, essentially, a little block of fellow traveler games that they showed. This first one here, like God Grove or whatever. This is not confirmed for Switch at the moment, but I think just about all of the other ones are. So this one, Times in Galaxy, we saw this at some other show recently. It's coming June 21st
Yep.
to Nintendo Switch. I didn't actually realize that Fellow Traveler was publishing it. And this one looks really cool. This Paper Mario like Calibra,
Yeah,
this looks really cool. Paper Mario inspired kind of Day of the Dead thing. Pine, A Story of Loss, also coming to Switch later this year. Looks fantastic. Looks emotional.
yeah,
And then I think they show Afterlife EP right after this.
I believe so.
So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Was that the only time we saw Pine? I want to say we got a better showcase for it somewhere else.
maybe that's possible. I know that Pine has a demo on Steam Next Fest as well.
Maybe that's it.
So yeah, so very cool. It's neat that Fellow Traveler again has low key become one of my favorite publishers, and they've just been putting out amazing games, and cool to have them get their own block here, and that so many of them are coming to Switch.
Yeah,
So
more shows should be featuring Fellow Traveler in the coming days and weeks. I feel like, Seth.
I hope so. I hope so. Next, this is
Hashtag
Shadow
we're doing
Dropped.
exactly that in tomorrow's full episode of All In. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, yeah. Um, next thing, we got a shadow drop of Kamaeru, a frog refuge, which shadow dropped on the Nintendo Switch. There is a video for it here on the YouTube channel right now, so you can check that out. I played through a bit of it on the YouTube channel. Big thanks to the publisher who gave us code for it a couple days early. It shadow dropped during the Wholesome Direct, and it's a very, very cute little game. If you like these sort of management sims, it's real cute.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and again, how long is your video? It's about an hour, right?
it's something like 45 minutes, something like that. Yeah.
So you can create
Yep.
yourself some nice little froggy swamps there, and cultivate your nice little froggy farms, and try to breed different colors and patterns, and even breeds of new reptilian and amphibian pals.
It's very cute. I recommend giving it a look. Check out the video if nothing else. You want to if you want to sense it. I will say the Switch version does have some optimization issues. It could use a patch, let it run a little bit smoother, but it's real cute. It's hard to stay mad at it for too long.
Those
Next
big-eyed frogs, just like
yeah, you can't stay mad at it for too long. The next game, this is actually a Nintendo Switch port announcement. This is a game that came out on PC last year, I think. It's now coming out on Switch. Minami Lane, which is, I think, made by a husband and wife duo. Very cute, kind of like city management kind of game coming to Nintendo Switch. I love the art style of it. I've heard this is kind of like a short and sweet kind of experience. This is not asking for hundreds of hours of your time. Looks really cool. Looks cute. I'm into it.
and they animated this little switch that you're playing the game on, and
I love it.
yeah. It's got an
Really,
interesting
really cute.
kind of white filter art style over everything. This isometric viewpoint. So I like it. I don't know exactly because I didn't play the PC version of the game, so I don't know exactly what you're supposed to do in it. Is it more of a management sim, a slice of life, a cooking
City
game?
builder. Yeah, get
Okay.
new residents, make people happy. Just like your SteamWorld build, sort of vibe. So, but on a smaller scale, it's just on like one street.
Yeah. So it's not Sim City. It's like Sim
No.
Neighborhood Block.
Yeah, it's Sim Lane, quite literally. So, yeah, that looks really cool. Another Switch port announcement that happened not too long after that is the forthcoming Switch port of Moonstone Island.
Yes.
Another one that's been on PC for a little minute now. It's coming to Switch finally on the 19th next week. This game is crazy. This game is like a mix of so many different genres. It is Pokemon.
Yeah.
It is Stardew Valley. It's got card mechanics. It's got vehicles. It's got romance. It's got like all of these different genres mixed into one game. It's insane.
Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to Matt's first look video.
You're probably right. Yeah, you're probably right. They probably are going to make one. I know Tosh is really looking forward to this. So and it looks great. I've heard great things. Cool that this is finally coming to Switch and it's coming soon. I love this little animation here of the character playing the game on Switch. Yeah, it looks great. Moonstone Island coming out on the 19th. So just a few days away at this point.
Yes, sir.
Speaking of islands, we're going to take a look at Petite Island, Didn't get a lot of information on this. There's no release date or anything, but we do know it's coming to Switch. This looks like kind of a cute, like a cat Animal Crossing sort of thing, essentially.
I can see
Very
that.
cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Little Adventure reminds me a little bit of, not Alwa, Alma's Adventure.
Alba. Yeah.
Alba, thank you.
Yeah.
Alba's Adventure. A fun
Yeah.
little slice of life, like photo sim adventure we did an indie showcase on a little while back. The art style just kind of reminds me of that adorable, almost toy cartoon-esque tropical look.
Yep. Totally. Looks very cute. Looks very cozy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm into it. We got a little kind of like at the very end of the Wholesome Direct, they basically just said, "Hey, we're gonna have like a sizzle reel, effectively, of a bunch of stuff." They even like literally, they're like, "Don't blink," because we're gonna show y'all a lot of games.
It was one of
And
the biggest sizzle reels I think I've ever seen. It was a really long sizzle reel.
it had like 20 games in it or something.
Yeah.
Like, it was like crazy. They had a ton of games. So the first one to highlight here is a game called Ringo's Roundup, which looks pretty neat. This looks like a sort of like little puzzle game. It kind of reminds me of that puzzle game that came out on PlayStation recently, Humanity. Like mechanically, it's pretty much the same thing where you're like putting down these arrows and
Yeah.
showing where the car is going to go to deliver the mail.
Yeah.
So,
I saw somebody on Twitter, I feel like a couple years ago, post some idea akin to this. It was like a snowplow style game. You have grid-based things, snowplow, and the different tiles are like ice or slopes or just snow or whatever. And you had to navigate your snowplow through. And he said, he just posted, was like, hey, here's, kind of the bare bones, the beginning of an idea that I had. And I almost wonder if this is the exact same developer, because I'm getting the exact same vibes from this game as I did from that original post.
yeah, maybe. The star named EOS, which has been sort of a known quantity for a little while, finally has a release date. It's coming out July 23rd. And this is coming to the Nintendo Switch. That one looks really cool. Looking forward to finally playing that. That was shown here in the sizzle reel.
Yeah. The problem with the sizzle reel is each game is only shown for a few seconds, so we don't really get a great sense of like the gameplay or the narrative or anything like that. We've only got a few shots to go off of, but it still looks kind of cool.
Yeah. There was this game that they showed off called Dawn Folk, which is coming to Nintendo Switch, which looks like kind of a pixel art, like kind of strategy game, like a Catan sort of thing.
Yeah, kind of Catan, Carcassonne, stuff like that. Kind of those vibes. I almost got. I mean, just from the way the town and the area was kind of being built up. I don't know why, but it reminded me a little bit of Loop Hero as well.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Just a few shots to go off of, but I don't know if that game looks interesting to you. Check it out.
Yeah, and this is the last one to highlight here from the sizzle reel. Probably my highlight of the sizzle reel, Omachapan, which is like a gachapon, like Chibi Robo looking kind of
It
game.
does really look Chibi Robo, doesn't it?
Yeah, but you play as like gachapon toys. It looks awesome.
Yeah,
I'm way into it, and this is I believe a Switch exclusive, just like Switch and PC. So I'm looking forward to that solo dev effort. I think too.
That's adorable. It is amazing to me what solo devs are able to. I know it's taken them more than like a few weeks, but it is astounding to me what solo dev teams are able to create within the indie space now. I remember when solo dev teams were putting out stuff like I made a game with zombies in it on the Xbox 360. So to see what a single person is capable of these days within the indie space is just astounding to me.
Yeah. Well, that was the Wholesome Direct. We only got one. I mean, as you might expect, the Xbox Game Showcase was not rife with Nintendo Switch news.
Not too many.
However, we did get a game announced there at the Xbox Game Showcase. The new Life is Strange game, Double Exposure. The return of Life is Strange 1 protagonist Max Caulfield. And believe it or not, it is coming to Switch.
Yeah. that this isn't necessarily like a massive surprise. I mean, the last big Life is Strange game, True Colors, also came to the Nintendo Switch, albeit in a truncated,
A
uh,
compromised
a
state.
compromised state. Yeah, despite that, I mean, it's still absolutely a great game. Do check it out. We adored it. We did a full review on it. But yeah, sure enough, just like True Colors came to the Nintendo Switch, Life is Strange Double Exposure is coming to the Nintendo Switch with a really interesting new ability. As all the Life is Strange games are wont to do, the main protagonist has a relatively supernatural power at their disposal. This one, in this game, Max has the ability to traverse two separate timelines, where there are, well, specifically one big difference, but I guess a lot of other smaller differences that she has to try to navigate to solve puzzles and figure out why the one main difference. Well, never mind. They spoil what the main difference is in the trailer. So, yeah, in one timeline, her best friend is alive. In the other one, she's not. Well, best friend slash, I don't know if what their relationship was. Was it just friends or?
I mean, I don't know. This is the new character. No clue. All of the characters that Max is surrounded by are new characters in this.
Yeah, because
game.
they all die.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, the thing to note here in the trailer for this, they do not have the Nintendo Switch logo on the trailer because the Nintendo Switch version is not coming on October 29th alongside the other versions of the game. It is coming to the Nintendo Switch, and you can actually go to their website, which I will do now and show y'all, because the footage that we had was also not footage of the Nintendo Switch version of the game.
Oh, of
I
course
don't
not.
really expect to see that footage for a while. In fact, I wouldn't even be surprised if we don't see the Switch version until next year, but there it is. Nintendo Switch, Life is Strange Double Exposure. It's happening. We are getting it someday.
Well, I mean, we didn't get True Colors day and date with the other systems
No.
as well either. So this is that aspect of it's not a surprise either.
It isn't. No. So it's coming to Switch at some point. I'm really, really excited about it. I don't think I'm going to wait for the Switch version to play it, but
I don't blame you.
but I am looking forward to it, and it was cool to see here. But that was it from Xbox Game Showcase in terms of Switch news. No surprise there.
No surprise there.
Yeah.
And when it comes
it's
to
an Xbox
Ubisoft, I mean, yeah, Star Wars is not coming to Switch. Assassin's Creed Shadows is not coming to Switch. So,
But you know what it is, Eric?
what is, Seth?
You know what is coming to Switch? Monopoly.
Yes!
Monopoly is coming to Switch.
Thank you!
Monopoly?
That's not
Come on.
Monopoly. That's Call of Duty.
The timestamps are wrong.
Or that's not Call of Duty. That's
Their timestamps are completely wrong. This is Monopoly.
there we
go. That's like X Defiant or whatever. Yeah, Monopoly. They announced there's a new version of Monopoly coming to Nintendo Switch in September. So, yay! I hate Monopoly. I've never been a Monopoly guy. I don't like it, not one bit.
Ooh, let
You
us
like
know in the
Monopoly?
comments. I like it if it's being played with the right people. I
Too
have
long.
it absolutely, those games can get too long. But like we played some house rules, like once all the properties are out,
Okay. Yeah.
like we rejig the game or something. There are some really fun ways to play Monopoly. There are some like really dark house rules, some back deal shady things that you can do with certain house rules. So when it comes to the traditional way to play Monopoly, I am right there with you. However, there are some really fun custom rule sets that you can have a lot of fun with Monopoly with.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I've only played traditional Monopoly, and it's always
Yeah.
like a 6-hour ordeal. Everybody's miserable by the end of it. Oh,
Honestly, if I'm going to play a traditional game of Monopoly, I'd much rather play Monopoly Junior because those games are
yeah.
are so much faster.
Yeah, I'm with you.
But unfortunately,
this-
I don't think that video game is going to have those custom rule sets.
No, I don't think so either. No, I don't think so either. Well, this is all kind of happening just within the pre-show, but they also showed off this indie game supported by Ubisoft. I'm really curious how that kind of works out. But this game, Biomorph, which is already out on PC, I think, but is coming to Switch later this year. This looks awesome. This
Yeah.
looks like sort of like Hollow Knight with like the mechanics of Kirby, like the ability to sort of like use the powers and forms of the enemies of the game.
Yeah.
I think this looks sick.
Yeah, it does look really cool. I really dig the The art style we saw there.
Love it.
Obviously, there's more color here, but I don't know, the more muted black and white with the, mixed with like some bright color splashes here and there. I've always thought that was an incredibly striking art style, and they use it to pretty good effect here in some of the environments.
I love the character designs. It looks like you're like kind of building the city back up. Yeah, I'm excited for this one, man. This one looks really cool.
Yeah.
So looking forward to it. We don't know when it's coming, but it is coming later this year to the Nintendo Switch. The only other, as you mentioned, Star Wars Outlaws, Assassin's Creed, that's not coming to Switch, right?
No.
However, we did get a little bit of additional Nintendo Switch news from the Prince of Persia block that they had on stage here to celebrate the 35th anniversary of the Prince of Persia franchise. Couple little announcements, nothing too crazy. They did this cute little like run through, this little pixel art animation running through the prince's history, which I thought was adorable.
Yeah.
Going from the original to, now the Lost Crown and the Rogue Prince of Persia. And you got this nice little graphic here for the 35th anniversary. Very cool. Of course, Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown came out earlier this year, and it has been getting DLC as part of a DLC roadmap. And they did detail some of the DLC available for the game and some forthcoming DLC, single-player DLC, coming in September. I think it's called like the Mask of Shadow or something like that.
Yeah, it is a big story chunk DLC. We've been getting other stuff, other additions to the game. And like I said already, we got a new boss rush mode that was added this past week into the game. But the final piece of the big DLC roadmap for Prince of Persia: Lost Crown is going to be an actual kind of mini campaign.
Yeah, I'm excited to get back in there and kind of just, now that once all the DLC is done, just get back in there and kind of like just play through all of it and kind of get back into, Mask of Darkness. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Story DLC, September 2024. And these are free updates, by the way. These are free updates to the game.
And really interesting to see. The boss fights were a particular highlight in many respects for the Lost Crown. So I'll be interested to see what new boss encounters this DLC campaign has to offer.
Yeah, same. Looking forward to it. The only other little thing here, and this was, they did have some Rogue Prince of Persia news, but that's not coming to Switch, at least not anytime soon. They had one last piece of news related to the Prince of Persia. This game was confirmed for Nintendo Switch when it was initially announced. I don't know if that's still the case anymore, but when we last heard of Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time remake, it was confirmed for Switch, and we got this very quick little teaser trailer showing a candle and confirming that it's back. They're still doing it, and it's coming in 2026.
Well, I appreciate that Ubisoft didn't want to just finish development on the heavily lambasted version of the Prince of Persia remake. I appreciate that Ubisoft didn't want to just release that game to what was surely going to be universal derision. They have put so much time and effort and resources and money behind this game to do what they've done, to basically scrap the entire thing, go back to the drawing board and essentially restart this game from scratch. I mean, I'm looking. It does make me look forward to playing it when a studio is clearly taking that much care in making sure that a lesser version doesn't get out there. It makes me excited to actually finally play the finished version when we eventually get it. I assume after five more delays in 2029.
I hope not. We'll see. I mean, the good news is it's worth it. It's one of my favorite games of all time. I love this game.
Yeah, we did a retrospective on it a while back.
Yeah, I played through it again last year. It still holds up, and I am very, very much looking forward to seeing what they do with this one. But that was it coming out of Ubisoft Forward, and that was it for the Summer Game Fest weekend. Now,
was that
not?
All?
Yeah, is that all? Now,
no,
it isn't
apparently.
the end of the presentations, though, Eric.
No.
We got a presentation just earlier today.
Yes,
at the time of this recording.
So June is still going on, folks, and Yacht Club Games decided that they wanted to have their own little party to celebrate the 10th birthday of their iconic blue shoveling hero. Yes, we've got the 10th anniversary Shovel Knight presentation that was, as we were recording this, broadcast earlier on today. And I've got to say, there was some pretty cool stuff here. What was your
more
yeah,
than I thought
big,
there'd be.
Yeah. I was going to ask what your kind of big takeaway was, but I guess that's kind of it. Way more stuff than I thought we were going to see. The first big thing that we saw is apparently what's going to be the final big content update for Shovel Knight Dig. According to Yacht Club Games, bookending, finally closing off this game for good. This new DLC campaign, was it Mystic Wishes or
Wicked Wishes?
Wicked Wishes, yes.
Yeah.
The alliteration throws me off sometimes. But yeah, a whole new hub area, new stages, bosses, and all kinds of stuff added in to Shovel Knight Dig in this new big content update.
Yeah, and for free, by the way. These updates have been for free to Shovel Knight Dig. They've talked about all the new content they've added so far, and this Wicked Wishes is going to add even more, like new music, new stages, new characters, all kinds of stuff to the game, and it's going to complete it. They're like, yeah, we've polished this to a mirror sheen, and this is going to be the final update for the game, coming this summer, at some point this summer. No actual date on it. Beyond that, but pretty cool. Shovel Knight Dig is fantastic.
Yeah.
It's great. Everybody should play it.
So as part of this whole promise that this was going to be the final piece of content for Shovel Knight, they said in addition to everything that the new content update itself is going to be adding, they said they went back and they said it was like 100 different bug fixes and balances, balance tweaks and stuff like that. So in addition to all the new stuff, they said they went back and like Seth already mentioned, polished the main game to a mirror sheen. Essentially, they really want to be confident when they put this game to bed, when they finally put, a pin in Shovel Knight Dig.
Yep. Yeah, and similarly, we got some news of forthcoming DLC for Pocket Dungeon.
Yes.
Shovel Knight Pocket Dungeon. It's got the Paradox Path DLC, which is another free update to the game, and it is coming, quote, soon.
Yeah.
We don't know when, and they did say that after this, there will be one further update in the future that will be its final free content update, and that's going to add online play to the game.
Yeah. They did specifically say, they didn't give too many details, but they did already confirm that not this DLC update, but the next one is going to add online to the game. However, this DLC update still looks pretty cool. They added the Enchantress, one of the new playable characters within the game, in addition to adding in a ton of more relics and just content in general to Pocket Dungeon. So, Shovel Knight Dig, Shovel Knight Pocket Dungeon, both worth your time. Everything that Yacht Club Games has done with the Blue Burrower has been incredibly polished, in my opinion. So if you haven't played either of these games, I do definitely recommend checking them out. And I will be more than happy to, once they finally get physical versions for those games after all the DLC has been released, I'll be more than happy to add those to my shelf.
Yeah, they talked about, both of those games are excellent and both have so much content in them. Both games are currently half off on all of the storefronts they're available on. And in fact, Shovel Knight Dig is also being brought soon to Xbox and PlayStation for the first time.
Yes.
So very, very cool. They also talked about some of the various merch and collabs and events they have going on. A lot of the old Shovel Knight collaborations that have happened over the years are kind of coming back, like Fall Guys and For Honor and Brawlhalla.
Yeah, this was like a 23-minute presentation, folks. So
it was big.
Yeah.
It was big. And hey, there's apparently a cafe in LA.
I saw that.
Requiem Cafe that's going to have Shovel Knight food there for the next couple weeks. Or no, sorry, in Anaheim. You can get the Feast of the Troupple King.
I saw that. I was like, that's amazing. That's so good. Almost makes me want to go all the way out there. What is it with these indie games and their coffee shops? These like Coffee Talk just opened up one as
Well,
well.
pop-up shops.
Is that going to be like the thing in the future? Is like
Well,
Lorelai and the Laser Eyes going to have their own cafe soon? Or
well, I don't know. So I don't know what the Coffee Talk situation. This seems like it's just a couple of menu items that are at this pre-existing place.
yeah,
Like you can go there. It looks like it's some onigiri. It looks like it's just like a simple onigiri
yeah,
with like some furikake on the outside or something, and a little like apple that you can like dip into some honey or something.
yeah.
A couple of drinks that have apple slices, dried apple slices on them. You know,
Ecors, as they call them on the menu, which
right.
is also great.
Very cute. And if I lived anywhere near there, I'd pop in and I'd have a feast of the Troupple King myself.
Absolutely.
So that's pretty cool. I thought that was kind of cute, and they talked about a bunch of different merch and stuff like that. They did give an update for Mina the Hollower. Not really much of an update, really just a bunch of new gameplay for Mina the Hollower.
Yeah,
They still don't know when it's coming.
Yeah, there was a ton of smoke and mirrors thrown around this presentation with the bizarrely, I guess, Crypt Keeper esque way that
Yeah.
the guy talked about it the entire time. So they had a human presenter, an IRL, like live action human presenter for this Mina the Hollower update, but it was in some weirdly low budget laboratory, like with skulls and flasks and candles and cobwebs everywhere, and this huge this huge over the top vocal presentation, which was kind of cute, but honestly, it just felt like they did it to, smoke over the fact that we didn't really get much from this ultimately, aside from a few new shots of Mina.
Yeah.
There were a lot of new environments, I think, that were shown off, and the game does look really good, but in terms of new substantial information, there really wasn't much here.
Yeah, I mean, here's what burned me about this. What really burned me about this is the way they built it up. Like, really made it sound like they were about to reveal the date. They took us all the way back to 2022 when the Kickstarter launched, and they talked about how much work and passion's gone. Like, it felt like there was so much buildup. I was like, oh, this has got to be when this is really going to make this a can't miss presentation. Like it's been so big already. They're going to reveal the date of Mina the Hollower here. Oh my god, And they didn't. They just said, like, please keep being patient.
Yeah, they said after everything, just kind of almost meekly. I don't know. There's something about the lettering at the end that just made me think is like, sorry, we don't actually have anything to tell you. Please keep being patient. Thank you so much for all your support.
And where's that at? I'm trying to find that.
Yeah, the guy just he just disappears in a puff of smoke. He's like, Yacht Club Games, thanks you for your continued patience and support. Like, the guy couldn't even be bothered to say it himself. Like,
just a little,
like, as if somebody off screen asked him, "Is like, can you reveal a release date yet?" And he just like, and away.
Yeah, and in fact, he was like, "Yeah, we're going to spend the next few months just polishing and refining and stuff like that." And I'm like, "Few months? Like, I'm really, this game, the spooky vibe. You want this out for October, no? You want this out for spooky season, I would think. I
don't know.
So,
maybe that's also with the direct.
Who knows? Who's to say? Well, the next announcement that was shown here, yeah, I hope so. The next announcement we got here, I did not see coming.
I did not see this coming either. I really thought that that we were done with OG Shovel Knight. Treasure Trove is a phenomenal package. You've got, the original campaign. You've got King of Cards. You've got Spectre Storm. You've got multiple campaigns in addition to a platform fighter. And now here we are on the 10th anniversary of Shovel Knight. Yacht Club is actually re-releasing Shovel of Hope, the OG campaign, as Shovel of Hope DX with apparently 20 playable characters and I guess like every exclusive feature that has ever been present in any version of the game, including
3D, which is wild.
Yeah.
Like, I'll admit, when this trailer first started, I groaned. I was like, guys, like, how many times are we going to figure out how to package Shovel Knight? I played this game, but as the trailer kept going, it really kind of earned its place. Like, 20 playable characters, local and online multiplayer.
Yes. Yes,
with it. I mean,
multiplayer. So if you want to play as the Enchantress and the Black Knight playing through the campaign together, you can do that in this game.
all of it's in there. The fact that they found a way to work in 3D stereoscopic into that, where you can shift the background around, is so fun. I'm really curious if all versions of this are going to include the cameo fights, like Kratos and the Battletoads. We'll see how that works out. They've got built-in cheats into the game,
Which
and
you can stack, which look amazingly
yeah,
ridiculous. So if you want to make your character literally half the size of the screen, and if you want to keep having the screen itself rotate, and if you wanted, like, there are so many different things that you can stack onto this game. I was exactly in the same boat as you. I was like, why in the world do I need this if I
right.
have Treasure Trove? And then they just kept adding more stuff into the game. It basically just felt like Uncle from Jackie Chan Adventures. Like,
One
and
more thing.
one more thing, and
Yeah,
one more thing, and
yeah,
one
yeah.
more. Like, there was so much stuff. So I guess I'm going to have Treasure Trove and Shovel Knight, Shovel of Hope DX.
I guess so.
I
Well,
guess
and
so.
I will say the first thing they showed in the trailer was rewind and save states. I think that's low key really smart because one thing that I have heard from people, even in our community, we had people that were recently kind of finally playing Shovel Knight, and they're like, "This
Yeah.
game, I find this game too hard." I think that a lot of people who kind of cut their teeth on games like this, like actually, when I first played Shovel Knight, my big criticism of it was too easy. I found Shovel Knight to be quite a walk in the park, at least by default, and people were like kind of complaining that it's too hard for the average kind of modern gamer, and so I think having rewind and save state is a really smart decision. I think it's going to make it way more accessible to a whole new category of players.
Yeah.
So
I originally played it on the 3DS, and I thought
same.
I thought the difficulty was a good mix. It didn't, hold the player's hand, but it did take me a couple tries to beat some of the stages. So, but
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, more accessibility. Those are options that you absolutely don't need to use, and I certainly personally won't be using the save states or the rewind function or anything like that. However, I mean, Shovel Knight is a game that should be enjoyed by even younger gamers, many of which probably do need stuff like that.
absolutely, absolutely. No date on this, just as coming soon.
Yeah.
I even
The
looked at the
only
Steam page.
the only date that we got from any of the actual products was the tentative summer 2024 release
Right.
date for the Shovel Knight Dig DLC. Everything else was just coming soon. Thank you for your continued patience and support.
Yeah, and that is a problem for me. I don't like that. Like, don't give me something. Give me a little something. It's cool news, but like, don't just say coming soon and give me something. Now they did end off the presentation with a straight up tease,
Yep.
with nothing to actually show other than some, kind of hinting language at the next Shovel Knight game.
Yes.
What's next for Shovel Knight? They say like we're bringing it into a new
New
dimension of
dimension.
gaming,
Yeah.
and you
Like,
notice this Yacht Club Games logo when it
is
comes
very
in
wonderfully rendered in 3D.
is no longer a 2D logo, right? It's very specifically moving around in 3D. I think it's pretty
Yes.
safe to read between the lines there and
Yeah.
assume that the new Shovel Knight they're working on is going to be a 3D game.
Yeah. That word dimension that they used to tease the game was very explicit.
Yeah,
I mean, they basically just said, don't make us come out and say it because it's not as cool as when we have to come out and say it. The next Shovel
right.
Knight game is going to be in 3D, guys.
Yep. Yep, pretty much. So I
Give
don't
me
know.
Shovel Knight 64, man. Just give it to me. I'm here for it. I'm 1000% here for it. Give me Shovel Knight 64.
Yeah, it's cool to know that they are like making more Shovel Knight. Kind of like, like as much as I love Shovel Knight, like I have been like, man, I'm ready for like something new actually,
Yeah.
And Mina the Hollower, like I'm excited about that, but it is going to be nice to finally have like a brand new Shovel Knight game in 3D. Should be
Yeah.
cool.
It should be cool. I will say the one thing about Yacht Club is yes, they come out with really good polished content. It takes them a long time,
Right.
though.
Yeah.
So I would not expect any word. I mean,
It'll be years.
Yeah, it'll be
Yeah.
years. We guys know, or we know how long we've had to wait for Mean to the Hollower already. So I don't expect this new Shovel Knight game to come out anytime in the next couple of years. Honestly, 2026 would surprise me.
It would. I would be surprised too. I'd be surprised too. Well, that's the end of scrubbing through the showcases, for now at least. Good grief, so many showcases. But Eric, we got more showcases to come. There,
So many.
there's more. Not only are we on Nintendo Direct Watch any time now, but LRG3 is
Yes,
finally
sir.
happening as well on June 20th at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific time. Come preview some of our biggest upcoming physical and digital releases in 2024 and beyond.
Yes.
LRG3, I got to admit, last year's in particular, I thought was one of the best shows of last year.
See, well, when it comes to LRG at this point, LRG has gotten to the point where they can make game announcements because of their
Right.
carbon engine and all the work that they're doing on the indie and the kind of the remake and reboot landscape. There's going to be like actual game announcements. This isn't going to be this isn't going to be just, hey, here are some of your favorite games, but in physical form.
Absolutely.
Like we're past those days. We're going to get actual factual
We'll still
game
get
announcements. Yeah, we'll still get a
But-
ton of those.
Yeah. Mhm.
But I do expect some really cool announcements, especially with LRG's carbon engine bringing back. Like I'm such a fan of the like the whole 90s in general decade of gaming, and LRG has really been at the forefront of bringing back a lot of those games into the modern era. We've already seen, I mean, just like Gargoyles and Jurassic Park and Sparkster that released this week, just to name a few. And I'm like, I just eat that stuff up like Homer in the donut machine. Just just give me all of that. So not even just thinking about the different physical announcements that they're going to have, but these new, kind of resurrected classic 16 and 32-bit titles that we're going to be able to look forward to in the future. Like LRG has become like can't miss video game direct viewing, in my opinion. I think we're going to see a lot more stuff like we did last year.
Yeah, I think so too. Looking forward to it. That's next week on the 20th. So we will certainly come back and report on whatever we see there. And who knows? Maybe I'll get lumped in with the Nintendo Direct next week. Who's to say?
Very possibly. Very possibly. I'm still expecting the Nintendo Direct this coming week. So we will see. We shall see.
The next things we have, and we're running long. We've been covering a bunch of showcases and stuff, but I did want to hit a few little quick headlines. First of all, we don't need to stick on this too much, but it is worth notating Hatch Tales was delayed this week once again, this time to August 23rd. In a statement to Kickstarter backers, it was revealed that a special, quote, Hatch Tales Deep Dive Showcase, quote, will be happening on Atui's YouTube channel on June 21st, but the game has been delayed yet again to August 23rd. So, just quick headline there. I don't really have much to say about it at this point, to be honest.
The third release date given this year already.
Yeah. So, wishing them all the best at Atui. We love those guys. Yeah. So all the best to them. But we'll see, man. We'll see. I mean, we're to get a nice, good look at the game. It sounds like next month or later this month at the very least. Next week, I guess, at the very least.
I hope so. But I know they want to get this game out just to get it behind them. But
tell me about it.
Yeah, I know they want to, but it's just a conversation we've had too many times, unfortunately.
Yeah. I mean, what more is there to say that hasn't already been said? Citizen Sleeper 2's coming early 2025 to the Nintendo.
That's a conversation I want to have. Heck yeah.
Yes.
So Citizen Sleeper is, if you haven't played Citizen Sleeper on Nintendo Switch, I highly recommend you fix that, especially if you're a fan of like tabletop RPGs or, kind of games of that ilk, because this is a very narratively focused, kind of like dice-based social RPG, and it is Citizen Sleeper 1 is just so cool with all the different characters, some of the best writing on the Nintendo Switch in the indie landscape, and the look that we got at Citizen Sleeper 2 this past week. Just, I mean, yes, please. I need it now.
Yeah, this one looks like rather than playing a single character, actually building a crew.
Yeah.
And there's only one returning character that I noticed. That's Bliss right there. It's the only returning character that I noticed from the first game. And Bliss looks a little bit older as well. And I'm looking forward to seeing if anybody else pops up from the first game. And yeah, I can't wait. I love Citizen Sleeper. And I can't wait for this. So early next year, and it is coming to Nintendo Switch. So
Yeah.
very
So
cool.
just
Look at that.
very quickly, if you've never played the Citizen Sleeper games before, the way it works is, or if you've never played the original before, is it works on like this kind of unique day cycle where every morning you wake up and you essentially just roll an entire set of dice, and you have essentially all of those dice rolls to work off of, to do separate actions and to fulfill certain tasks and other things like that. And say that you need to go persuade this person to help you do something, but you need to have a 3 and up for your dice, or you need to have a 2 and a 4 or something like that on your dice. So that's the type of game that we're dealing with. I know it seems kind of weird, but it's executed flawlessly.
Yep. It's a great game. I love it. And I'm excited for the second one. Another game that I love coming to the Nintendo Switch later this year. Lollipop Chainsaw Repop is coming to the Nintendo Switch on September 25th. We got a trailer for that this week as well. This is not the Nintendo Switch version of the game that's being shown in the trailer. I think it's probably the other versions of the game. But this is an Xbox 360 game, y'all. It's not going to like wow you with its visuals, but
No.
it's so fun. I love this game.
Yeah, but it's also not a game that hopefully should, cause the Nintendo Switch too many issues, even in a
No.
even in a quote unquote repopped form. But this was Lollipop Chainsaw was the definition of like grindhouse cult classic. And yep, there you go. Juliet is back, and she's got her wonderful chainsaw. She's got her nice boyfriend sitting on her hip, and it is exactly the type of game that you're expecting when you imagine a cheerleader in a mini skirt going up against Towards the Undead with a chainsaw.
Yeah, I mean, but just like a lot of Pseudo's games, like it is that, but there's more going on than you would think with the story. It has a little bit more to say than you would expect. It's not simply, I mean, it is like grindhouse over the top crazy, but there's a little bit more going on there. I actually really like the relationship that Juliet has with, I think his name's Nick, Michael Rosenbaum's character, the decapitated boyfriend.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. The James Gunn wrote the game. It's got music from Akira Yamaoka and Johnny Urin, like punk rock, people, and Silent Hill, music. This is coming this year. This has the date September 25th. Shadows of the Damned remaster is also coming out this year, but we don't have a date for that yet. But these are two kind of like 360 era Grasshopper games, and I'm excited to have these on Switch.
I do really like that logo for the remaster.
Yeah, I love it. So it does say digital release date September 25th. It does have a physical release in other regions, but it does not have a physical release here yet. So hopefully we'll get a physical release for both that and Shadows of the Damned.
LRG is going to do it. They're going to sell a literal chainsaw with the collector's version.
You might be right. I mean, that would not necessarily shock me.
At this point in LRG's history, that wouldn't completely surprise me. It's like we've got an actual working chainsaw to sell with the game.
Yeah. Real quick thing to flag here. We've mentioned a couple of times that we're on Nintendo Direct Watch, and we have a few indicators that maybe a Nintendo Direct is happening soon. One of them being that the Beyond Good and Evil 20th Anniversary Edition that was leaked last October, and Ubisoft sort of begrudgingly said, okay, we'll confirm it. Like, I guess yes, it's coming out, but it's coming out early next year. Don't get too excited. And here we are in the middle of next year, finally having its trophies pop. It's on PlayStation. It's ready to go. It's actually been patched. Like, the full game is on PlayStation, ready to go. I have to imagine a shadow drop is coming soon, Eric.
Yeah, well, similarly to what I said about the Plucky Squire and its absence from Devolver Digital Showcase, you can copy and paste everything I said about that into basically just confirming that means that the Lucky Squire is going to appear at the Nintendo Direct. copy and paste everything I said about that in regards to Beyond Good and Evil's 20th anniversary remaster, as far as I'm concerned.
In addition to that, I completely agree. I think that it wasn't at Ubisoft because it's going to be at Switch. In addition to that, the House of the Dead 2 remake was rated by the ESRB, or sorry, by PEGI rather, and it has the release date of June 14th there. So that, I think, too, is ready for immediate release. Maybe not a shadow drop, but it is ready, and it has been rated and good to go. The House of the Dead 2 remake. So
I love how janky and campy the original House of the Dead remake is that we got a couple years ago. I've played through that probably 36 times at this point. Like, it's kind of low budget and there's some jank to it, but it's still so much fun. Even though you're on Nintendo Switch playing this light gun with a controller in a way that it absolutely was never meant to be played, I still really enjoy it, and I do hope that the House of the Dead Remake 2 comes to Nintendo Switch. I do, because
it will. It's rated. It's coming. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. I imagine both of those we're going to see at the Nintendo Direct. So a lot of evidence, and there was also the leaked Among Us DLC trailer that went up that's like dropping on the 18th. So a lot of people think that the Nintendo Direct is happening this coming week. A lot of evidence, a lot of smoke.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
I may have to mute a few things on Twitter over the next few days, just so I don't have, because I'm sure the Burb is going to be coming out with a few things here sooner rather than later, and I'd like to still have a couple things, that resemble surprises for me here at the Direct. I don't want to have every big announcement spoiled for me, so I may have to mute a few things on Twitter over the next few days.
You may have to. You may have to if you're not too busy at the aquarium, Eric.
Oh, snap!
The New Horizons Aquarium Tour has some new dates, new locations. Cool.
Yay.
Yeah.
I looked. I actually didn't see anything for Orlando, unfortunately, so. Wah, wah. But if
there's one in New Orleans.
Yeah. But I mean, if you're close to one of these aquariums, I'd go check it out. Let us know how the Animal Crossing Aquarium Tour goes. I'm actually genuinely interested to figure out exactly what they're doing for this.
Yeah. They did it in Seattle. So there are people who have, put videos out.
Yeah.
But yeah. Pretty neat. Cool. Just a little PSA there. Real quick, another little PSA. We did get a firmware update this past week for the Nintendo Switch. It was updated to
Twitter.
Yeah, exactly. Updated to version 18.1.0. This is the update that takes Twitter away.
Yeah.
No more Twitter functionality.
Because Twitter told Nintendo, you need to pay us tens of thousands of dollars to have functionality on your platform. And Nintendo said, honestly, you guys should be paying us, so we're going to stop that nonsense. And they did.
Yeah. So that's gone. They have now joined. PlayStation and Xbox got rid of it a while ago.
Yep.
So Nintendo is just the latest abandoner of Twitter functionality. But one thing that was interesting that I don't see a lot of people reporting on, in addition to this, the Nintendo Switch, with this update, also removed the functionality of linking all of your social media accounts to the Friend Suggestions tab. Before, you used to be able to go into the Friend Suggestions tab, and if you had mutuals on Twitter or Facebook or whatever, you would say hey, they have a Switch and they've linked their stuff too, you should add them. And that's gone. Now it's only for your mobile app, your 3DS, and your Wii U. That's it. So, yeah. I didn't really use that functionality anyway, but for the people who did,
admittedly, I didn't either. And for the Direct, linking with the Twitter account, honestly, I think I mentioned this before, I still just downloaded the photos to my phone anyway and uploaded them that way. But I think still just taking that step and removing that, officially removing that collaboration with Twitter. I know a lot of Twitter's advertisers and supporters have been getting incredibly antsy over the past couple of years about the platform. So I wonder if this is, because Nintendo is a fairly large company, as most people are aware. So I wonder if, whereas I wonder how far a lot of them are to the last straw.
Yeah, yeah, you have to wonder, right? Well, real quick, we got a few notable releases to hit before we say goodnight. We talked about this. We don't need to labor on this too much, but this is my video here from Kamaeru, a frog refuge, available now on the Nintendo Switch. Again, shadow dropped
Hmm.
during the Nintendo Direct. Again, just a cute little, like, cozy, frog refuge management sim. Again, Switch version has a little bit of optimization. I think it could use a patch. It's got a little bit of slowdown. Nothing too crazy, but if it seems like your cup of tea, check it out. That's available now. You mentioned this earlier, Eric. Rocket Knight Resparked, available on the Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, I would own this digitally already if I didn't already have the physical on its way.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm a huge fan of Sparkster Rocket Knight Adventures. I was really stoked when they came out with the new one on the 360.
I did play
Years
that.
ago.
I did play
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
So this is an incredibly fun, fast-paced set of games. This, mech knight marsupial that you get to play as, whose name is Sparkster, and it's a really, really cool set of games that I recommend people try out. Definitely use the rewind functionality in this game because you are going to need it.
Yeah.
These
Cool.
games are not easy.
Yeah, well, that's cool. It's cool to have them on the Nintendo Switch at this point. Well, speaking of animal character-based games, as Eric's pointing to on the screen, Roxy Raccoon's Pinball Panic, which Eric did play here on the YouTube channel. Thanks to our friends at East Asia Soft that provided us the code for that.
Yes, thank you so much for the code. I was not tracking this brand new pinball game releasing this week. However, on paper, this is everything that I've wanted from a pinball game for years. This has an actual factual little story mode to it. It's got a ton of genuinely 30 different tables. None of them are as involved as something you'd find on a Pinball FX or something like that.
Sure.
They're less involved tables, but they're not meant to be played for hours at a time. They're just meant to be played in succession, essentially, to keep things fresh. That being said, you can still go back in and get high scores on them. All the tables, well, most of the tables even have collectibles, like collectible gems that will unlock new cosmetics. They have challenges that you can finish that unlock even more cosmetics. The game does suffer from some low budget jank. Yes, I will certainly not deny that. However, there's a weirdly lot of stuff packed into this title, and the more I played it, honestly, the more it endeared itself to me. It's only $9.99. It's currently on the Nintendo Switch eShop. I do understand if the lack of polish would turn some people off. So with that being said, like Seth said, my video is currently up on the YouTube channel. Check it out. And but again, $10 for 30 some odd tables, and then on top of that, there's 30 other pinball adjacent games and mini games that you can play. There's a ridiculous amount of content in this title for its price. So check out the video. Yeah, we're going.
Yeah, I was gonna say near the end of the video, you sort of just flip through all of the content in the game. I mean, it is just loaded down.
Yeah.
With content, even some of this, we're not even playing pinball anymore. We're just we just got a little shooter in there. We get, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So why
There's
not?
this arcade mode that you can go in that has some stuff like pachinko and a couple other pinball.
Marble Madness
stuff.
is in there, sure.
And then you've just got a ton of other just straight up arcade games in there just for the heck of it. There's so much in there. So just for the sheer amount of content, the physics engine could be a little bit better, sure. But I mean, for the price point, for the amount of fun I had with it, it's kind of easy to recommend, even with all the jank and low budgetness of the presentation.
I love it. Check that out. That's Roxy Raccoon's Pinball Panic. Also out on Nintendo Switch this week, Monster Hunter Stories, the new Nintendo Switch remake of the 3DS game. is now out on Nintendo Switch. You can get it in a bundle if you want with both Monster Hunter Stories games, but this one is now available. Pretty cool.
Yeah. Now both Monster Hunter Stories games are available on the Nintendo Switch, and this is just yet another 3DS game that has been brought forward for a new audience. So, really makes me happy how many of those 3DS games are finding new life, especially after the closure of the eShop for that console.
Yeah, and it's only $29.99, which I think is a great price for what this is. So, yeah, this is one, like, I don't have time to play this right now, but it's one that I do want to get to. This is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Cool announcement. Cool to have it on Switch. And then we also, last one real quick, Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance, the sort of new kind of Ultimate Edition, the Persona 5 Royal of Shin Megami Tensei 5, effectively came out this week as well. So, yeah, quick shout outs to that.
Yep. And very quickly, just in terms of DLC, there was a brand new DLC pack for Boomerang Fu that was dropped this week that adds more characters and a ton more maps, and that actually looks really fun. I'm probably going to wind up picking that up. There was new DLC dropped for AEW Fight Forever that adds not Edge, but Adam Copeland into AEW Fight Forever, which is ridiculous. A wrestler that's been synonymous with WWE for 2.5 decades is now available in an AEW game, but both of those DLC packs are available now.
Nice. Very cool. Well, that's what we got for this 2-hour-long news roundup. We got through it. We made it through, but yeah, there's a lot of stuff to pour through in Nintendo Switch news this week. I imagine next week's not going to be any better. But hey, a lot of stuff to look forward to, a lot of stuff to play.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm excited. Can't wait to talk about LRG next week already, but there's already so much to play. But we would love to hear what your guys' most excited announcements, what games you guys are most excited for from this past week. Can you not wait to play Lego Horizons? Are you super stoked to get into Demon School? Let us know. Reach out to us on Facebook at All In Podcast, on Twitter at All In Podcast. Make sure to follow us in our Discord. We would love to have you join our Discord community. We have such an amazing, positive group of friends over there, and we would love for you to be one of them. But in addition to all of that, we also have an amazing YouTube channel we think you should follow, not just for these weekly news roundups that you're currently watching right now, which pop up on our YouTube channel each and every week, but all the first looks that we've mentioned here in the news roundup, episodes of Quarter Circle Forward, streams, and other things that you can look forward to each and every week. But in addition to the main show, to these news roundups, to the videos, and everything like that, Seth, somehow we find time to create a ton more exclusive content for our patrons.
We sure do. Patreon.com/allinpodcast is the place to be. 3 tiers of support over there. See which tier works for you. You can get a 7-day free trial to the Golden Banana tier. See what all the fuss is about. Exclusive content like a 3.5-hour long episode of All In Side Quest where we break down all the other stuff that we somehow didn't do. Early access to an episode of Bit Harmony that just went live. Between all of the podcasts that have hit All In Media, our little network of shows this past week alone, it's like 12 hours of content or something like that. It's ridiculous. So Patreon is if you want to support this and you want to see more stuff like this, Patreon is the place to be. Pick up some merch, allin.media. Grab yourself some merch. Great way to support the show as well. And you can support the show for free by dropping some words, leaving a 5-star rating or review on your podcatcher of choice. Like, subscribe, leave comments on the VOD. Hang out with us live when we do these on Friday nights. All of that helps climb the ranks and get our show in front of the people that need to see it and hear it. So thank you all so much for your support.
Thank you guys so much. Between this news roundup, our side quest, and tomorrow's brand new episode of All In, we probably eclipsed the total runtime of a Lord of the Rings trilogy extended edition marathon.
You're probably not wrong. I mean, this is 2 hours. All In tomorrow is about 2.5 hours, almost 3 hours, and then 3.5 hours for side quest, and then Bit Harmony is over 3 hours. So I mean, yeah, there's been a lot of content this week,
and it's constantly entertaining. But thank you guys so much for all of you who have dropped words on whatever podcasting service you happen to follow us on. For everybody who did pick up and who has picked up a piece of our merch at, I still want to say bit.ly. For everybody who has picked up a piece of our merch at allin.media, like Bowza did recently with her polo. For everybody who has joined that Patreon and who gets access to that amazing episode of SideQuest that we dropped this week. You can also, if you pop a free trial, but to everybody who has supported this endeavor that we have gone on for the past 4 years, we want to thank you for your continued patience and support as we keep All In going. Just trying to quote Yacht Club there. But thank you to everybody, and to each and every one of you. We would like to extend a huge thank goodness Summer Game Fest week is finally done. Namaste.
Namaste, everybody. Yes, Summer Game Fest is done for now. We're on Nintendo Direct Watch, but that's next week, maybe. For this week, you do have all that All In content to enjoy, including a brand new episode of All In, a Nintendo podcast that hits your feeds tomorrow. In that episode, we are revealing our top 5 personal favorite announcements for the Nintendo Switch from this past week. And we're doing that. We're doing an indie showcase on Fellow Traveler, as Eric alluded to earlier. The Fellow Traveler published 1000 Times Resist, my personal game of the year. And we're reminiscing on 10 years of Amiibo on the show this week with a ton of input from our community. So head on into the community Discord as well. Links to that are in the show notes too. A lot of friendly and welcoming folks in there, and intelligent video game and Nintendo chat. So we'd love to have you. New episode of All In hits this week. Check out Patreon for side quests and all that stuff. And I think I'm done talking. I think that's it. I think we did it.
I think we did it. Well, I'm excited. I get to go spend some time with my niece this week, and it's her birthday.
Nice.
Happy 4th birthday, Andrea. Uncle Eric loves you very much.
For when she listens to this specific news roundup in several years.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to tell her in person here in just a couple hours. Anyway, I got her like a whole big suite of like Dr. Seuss books that I'm going to read to her, and I'm going to be that uncle. So, yeah.
I had the opposite experience. My little brother turned 21 yesterday, which is crazy.
And you read him some Dr. Seuss books? That's so sweet.
And I read him some Dr. Seuss books. No, I bought him the Elden Ring DLC, which is about as far removed from that as you can get.
Two completely different extremes.
Yeah.
Two completely different extremes. But
anyways.
whatever you guys are up to this weekend, whether it's Elden Ring DLC with your cousins or whether it's reading Dr. Seuss to your nieces, let us know what you guys are up to. But regardless, thank you so much for spending part of your weekend with us.
That's right. See you guys next time. Good night, everybody.